Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through the noise, find the signal. Today, we're jumping into a really dynamic area, the Asia-Pacific business travel scene, specifically that extended stay market.
Yeah, and we're really zeroing in on the Onyx hospitality cruise.
Yeah.
And, their Shama brand of service departments, it's more than just growth. It's kind of a playbook for how companies are rethinking long-term accommodation, that whole bridge between um, apartment living and hotel service.
Right. So our mission today is to really get under the hood of this model. We want you to understand their strategy, where they build, how they differentiate with those, three formats. And these community things they're doing seems like it's driving some pretty huge growth.
Exactly.
Hmm.
If you're watching expansion strategies or maybe just looking for those aha moments in hospitality, understanding how Shama blends that residential comfort with international service standards is, well, it's crucial. It really shows where things are heading, especially in Asia's big growth spots.
Okay, let's unpack this. Starting with the basics. What's actually pushing business travelers, the ones staying longer, towards service departments instead of, say, just booking a hotel for months?
Well, it's really about how work itself has changed, isn't it? When someone's on assignment for, weeks or months, their mindset shifts. It stops being just a place to sleep and becomes, well, a temporary home
Yeah.
and a standard hotel room, even a fancy one. It starts to feel a bit confined after a while.
Mm-hmm.
Service departments, though, they offer more space, right? Kitchens, living areas.
Mm-hmm.
It feels more like actual living.
Yeah.
And critically, for the companies paying, it often looks like better value on a long lease.
Okay, that makes sense. And that ties straight into their location strategy, doesn't it? The research mentions they're deliberately putting these properties in prime residential spots, but still keeping them close to the commercial districts. That sounds like a tricky balance.
It is, but it's absolutely key. That location strategy is paramount. It lets the traveler, step outside of that corporate bubble. Being in a residential area means easy access to local stuff, supermarkets, neighborhood restaurants, pharmacies, things you actually need when you're living somewhere, not just visiting.
Right, the practical stuff.
Yeah, the practical stuff. Plus, making sure transport links are good means it works for both short trips into the office and, feeling settled for a few months.
So you get the neighborhood feel, the functionality, but how does Shama make sure they still deliver that high-level support, the 247 thing business travelers expect? Because that seems like the challenge bridging apartment independence with hotel service.
That really is the core promise of Shama. It's that home away from home feel space independence. But crucially, paired with international service standards, 247 hotel level care. So you get the security, the maintenance response, the front desk help you'd expect from a good hotel. But applied to an apartment setting, it just takes away a lot of the hassle for someone staying long term.
And this isn't just a nice idea on paper. The numbers show it's working, right? Significantly.
Oh, absolutely. What's fascinating here is, well, the proof is right there in the figures.
Yeah.
If you look at Thailand, which is a major hub, obviously, Shama's seen a massive 200% increase in properties there just in the last 5 years.
200%. Wow. That's incredibly fast growth, especially in a market like Thailand that's already packed with hotels. But maybe even more telling is how they're doing in Hong Kong. Super competitive place.
Precisely. Hong Kong's the benchmark, really. It's dense, it's expensive, loads of high-end corporate housing options already exist. And yet, Shama is ranked as the #1 international service apartment provider there.
#1 in Hong Kong.
Okay, yeah. That rank isn't just about opening doors fast. It signals, strategic smarts and operational quality. They've clearly convinced the corporate bookers, the long-stay expats, in a really tough market.
And when you look at the whole picture over 2,500 units, 20 properties, it's not just a niche play anymore. It feels like proof that this blended model works, that travelers and their companies want that mix of flexibility, service, and lifestyle.
It does raise an interesting point, though. Is that 200% growth just volume? Or is it also about yield? I mean, are they actually getting better returns per unit because people stay longer compared to hotels with constant check-in, check-out? My read is that the longer leases, the higher average occupancy, that probably gives them a much more stable revenue stream, which makes that kind of expansion, sustainable.
That makes perfect sense. Sustainable growth, not just chasing numbers. Okay, so let's dig into how they capture such a wide range of guests, because they're clearly not using a one-size-fits-all approach. You mentioned solo travelers, families.
Right. They do it through pretty clear product differentiation, 3 distinct formats. It lets them cover the market from, say, upper upscale all the way to a solid upper mid-scale offering.
Okay, walk us through those 3. What are the real differences? Luxe, Shama, and Hub.
Yeah, so think about it in terms of maybe luxury level and service intensity. Top tier is Shama Lux. That's aiming for the upper upscale crowd. Imagine a really high-end condo experience, bigger apartments, premium gym, pool, maybe more personalized concierge stuff. Probably targeting like C-suite execs or families relocating who need maximum comfort, no compromises.
Got it, the premium offering. What about the middle?
That's the core brand, just Shama. This is your standard, well-run, spacious, serviced apartment complex. It hits the sweet spot for most corporate professionals on those mid to long assignments. It's reliable, it's good quality, it balances the space with efficient service. You know what you're getting.
Right, the mainstay. And the third one, Shama Hub.
Shama Hub. This is the upper mid-scale option. Here you might see slightly more streamlined services, maybe smaller common areas,
Yeah.
but still get the essentials, kitchenette, security, maybe a bit more focus on communal spaces or co-living vibes sometimes. It feels geared towards maybe a younger, more dynamic traveler, someone prioritizing location efficiency, maybe connection over sheer luxury space.
So across those three, you see differences in room size, maybe the exact location within a location, the design, the decor. It's a tailored approach. They can meet different needs, different budgets, maybe even different cultural expectations without weakening the main Shama promise.
Exactly. But, getting the room right is only half the story these days,
Yeah.
especially in Asia Pacific, where competition is fierce. The real differentiator, the thing that builds loyalty, it seems to be this focus on lifestyle, on building actual community. They're trying to move way beyond just providing walls and a bed.
Ah, right. That's where the Shama Social Club comes in. I saw that mentioned. It sounds intentional, like a program designed to combat that feeling of isolation you can get when you're away for a long time.
It seems precisely aimed at that. The club is structured to, well, first, help guests connect with each other, turn strangers into neighbors, even if temporary ones. But importantly, it also pushes for integration with the local community around the property. The goal seems to be fostering a real sense of belonging, not just being a visitor.
And they wrap this up in their Live Your Blended Life campaign, right? Mixing work, life, local. So, okay, let me play devil's advocate slightly. If I'm a busy executive, maybe working on a huge deal, do I really care about a floating sound bath or a personal color workshop? Isn't reliable, fast Wi-Fi, and a quiet desk more important?
That's a fair point. And the Wi-Fi, the desk, those are table stakes,
Mm-hmm.
non-negotiable. That's the basic service promise. But the curated activities, I think they serve a deeper strategic purpose. It's about retention. It's about well-being, which ultimately impacts productivity anyway. The Explore Cake and Sound Bath you mentioned, the workshopping color workshop, a food venture tasting event, they're designed to enrich the experience of the stay.
Okay, so what's the strategic payoff then? Beyond just being nice.
Loyalty, positive buzz, word of mouth. These activities aim to turn a purely functional trip into something more memorable, something involving cultural discovery or personal growth. Guests who feel connected, looked after, part of something, they're probably less likely to shop around next time. And their companies get a subtle signal that they care about employee well-being on assignment. It's actually quite a sophisticated way to build brand stickiness.
So they're kind of like soft benefits, but framed as engagement and loyalty tools.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
They've tapped into the idea that modern travelers, even business travelers, see trips as chances to immerse themselves a bit. They're marketing to the whole person.
Right. Okay, shifting gears to the future outlook. This isn't just tweaking existing properties. This is a big expansion play across the region.
Absolutely. The plan is ambitious. We see active expansion points across Asia Pacific, and they've already got future developments lined up in key growth markets. Malaysia, Laos, Thailand are all mentioned. This isn't them dipping a toe in. It looks like a strategy for regional leadership in this segment.
And we have some specific recent openings mentioned. Where have they actually planted flags lately? Helps to visualize the strategy.
Yeah, the recent additions show how they're diversifying. They're not just sticking to the biggest capitals. There's Shama Hub Kantang in Hangzhou. China obviously tapping into that huge tech and finance boom there. Then Shama Hub Metro South in Hong Kong, solidifying their #1 spot. And importantly, Shama Swasana in Johor Bahru, Malaysia. That's strategic right near Singapore, tapping into that cross-border flow.
That mix is interesting. A tier 1 giant like Hong Kong, a booming secondary city like Hangzhou, and a strategic border city like Johor Bahru. It really shows the flexibility of their model, doesn't it?
It does. It proves that having those three tiers, Lux, Shama, Hub, lets them tailor their entry. They can go for the luxury high-rise market or the mid-market urban residential, depending on what makes sense locally. Very adaptable.
So what does this all mean for the bigger picture? All this focus and investment in Shama, it must feed into a larger goal for the parent company, Onyx Hospitality Group.
Oh, definitely. It fits perfectly with their stated ambition. Onyx has said they want to become, and this is a direct quote, the best medium-sized hospitality management company in Southeast Asia. Shama's success, its expansion, it's clearly the engine driving that ambition in the very lucrative extended stay sector. It provides that stable, long-stay revenue that likely underpins the whole group's growth plans.
Okay, so recapping what we've unpacked today, the massive growth in service departments across Asia Pacific, with Shama as a prime example,
Uh,
it's not luck. It really comes down to nailing that balance, doesn't it? Combining that reliable international standard hotel service with a real effort at community integration, plus having flexible formats for different kinds of long stays.
They've really figured out that business travelers, especially long-stay ones, want their whole life accommodated, not just their work hours. They want the comfort of an apartment, but they still expect the convenience and service of a hotel. Shama seems to be delivering that blend.
It's kind of fascinating that this segment, service departments, is now arguably leading hospitality innovation. It's forcing everyone to think harder about what long-stay guests truly value.
Indeed. That blend of professional need and personal comfort seems to be the winning formula right now.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, our listener, to chew on. If the really successful extended stay brands are putting so much effort into making guests feel at home through local activities, community building, does this mean the very definition of business travel is fundamentally shifting? Are we moving past just efficiency towards cultural immersion and lifestyle integration becoming actual KPIs for how companies manage travel and employee well-being? Something to think about next time you're planning a long trip or sending someone on one.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Asia-Pacific hospitality strategy and really the future of how we live and work globally.
We'll catch you in the next one.